for today's cup of coffee, we have a really interesting thing. I like the Ripley's Believe It or Not website. Mm-hmm. All kinds of cool stuff.
Although I'm kind of mad at them right now.
Well, yeah. Oh, I saw an article where they were...
It was damaged.
Where they were trying to, cover their asses was what they were doing.
Yeah.
Because they put somebody in a dress that had way too much ass than the
Kim
original...
Kardashian.
Than the original owner of the dress.
Them both are equally at fault. She should have never even thought about wearing the dress.
If something's in a museum, don't be messing with it. Don't be wearing it. Don't be touching it.
And guess what? It looked horrible on her.
Well, of course it did. It wasn't made for her. We're talking about the Marilyn Monroe dress.
Marilyn Monroe's iconic Happy Birthday, Mr. President dress.
And I tell you something, anybody who made the decision to let anybody else wear that should be fired. Mm-hmm. Because that ain't right.
She didn't want anyone else to wear the dress. She was a person who loved history and thought that it should be preserved. She is literally looking down on them and be like, y'all have screwed up. Of course, then again, y'all always disrespected my ass.
Well, anyhow.
They always did.
It's just, that was Hollywood back during that time.
It's now, too.
Well, I'm part of it, and then you've got these people that, what do? They're famous for being famous.
Kim Kardashian.
So, I mean, I can honestly say I have never watched a single episode of any of that. So, anyhow, they got him off on a tangent because I mentioned Ripley's. Has nothing to do with the topic. And it is written by Engrid Barnett, and this was from July 14th, 2020. One ring to curse them all. Yeah. And and I will tell you that a lot of times I will edit the articles. I figured you figured that. That's the reason we give you the link in the description box so you can go back and read the full article. Mm-hmm. Because if it's too flowery, a lot of times if it has words that I am going to absolutely butcher and embarrass myself, there's sometimes I can't get by with it.
Can't get by or can get by?
No, I mean, either one. And this is one of those. Because we have Latin names.
Oh, God.
So on some of this stuff, just bear with me. I'm hoping that I have edited it enough. We'll find out.
That's fucked up. Latin is a horrible language to learn.
In 2013, an enigmatic gold ring associated with an ancient Roman curse resurfaced in Great Britain and went on exhibition to the pleasure of die-hard J.R.R. Tolkien fans. Yeah. Uh-huh. And discovered in 1785 in a southern English field near the remains of an ancient Roman settlement. Some scholars claim this is the artifact that inspired Tolkien's iconic verse, "One ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them." You're not a Tolkien fan, are you?
No.
He's not a Tolkien.
I don't really know who that is.
The Hobbit? Lord of the Rings?
Oh, I didn't know that's who made it.
That's what we've got.
I didn't know that's who wrote it.
He doesn't pay attention.
I don't watch that. I don't watch it.
Oh, my God. Anyhow, is there any truth to the idea that Tolkien knew about this archaeological find or its associated hex? And here's what we know about I'm going to try this, the Ring of Sillinus.
Okay.
Now, that's probably the only time I'm going to even try that. So for the rest of the video, he will be known as Seal or Sile. Yeah.
He will be known as they.
And today you'll find countless gold and silver rings dating to Roman times in museums and archives around the world. There is one, however, that stands apart from the rest, and this is the Ring of seal, alternately known as the Ring of Cynesinus. Leave it. Just leave it. And the Vine Ring, Vyne. And
That's fucked up.
comes with a remarkable story and a cursed past. What we know about the ring's origins are somewhat scant. In the 4th century AD, a Roman soldier stationed in... Now, this is the one that's going to get me.
Oh, God.
Gloucestershire. Leave it. England.
I ain't even going to attempt.
By the name of Seal, visited baths dedicated to the Celtic god Nodens. The Temple of Nodens sat on a hill above the river Severn at Lydney, and celebrated the Roman British deity associated with hunting, dogs, healing, and the sea. Nodens boast many literary and cultural references, including links to the Fisher King of Arthurian legends. And associations also exist with the Norse god Njord. It is Njord. Of Vanar.
That's easy, Njord.
He was god of wine, sailing, fishing, and fertile land. The Roman god Mars, and that's the god of war. And some king that I ain't even going to. And so, while at the temple, Seal's golden ring vanished. And believing the culprit to be an individual named, here we go, Cynesinus, he will be known as Sin. So
Perfect.
we've got Seal and Sin.
Cinny.
And so
Synergy.
Seal made an appeal for supernatural justice. At the temple, he left money before crafting a lead plate known as a curse tablet or defixio. On the tablet, he wrote words in Latin that you can go to the article and read for yourself. And in English, it says, "To the god Nodens." Seal has lost his ring and given half of its value to Nodens. Among those who are called Sin, I did say Seal the other time, didn't I?
Yes.
I had to try to get them. Do not allow health until he brings it to the temple of Nodens. This curse comes into force again. So that's pretty hardcore.
Oof.
Why Seal believed Sin stole his ring remains a mystery. Nonetheless, a later inscription placed on the object provides evidence of Sin's ownership of the artifact. Seal's ring has a diameter of 1 inch and weighs 0.4 ounces or 12 grams. It has 10 facets and a square bezel engraved with an image of Venus, the Roman goddess. Because of the ring's impressive size, some have speculated the owner wore it on a thumb or over a glove. When owned by the pagan Seal, the ring's 10 gold sides remained bare. A later Christian owner placed a crudely executed inscription on the ring that says in English, "Sin, may you live with God." It's S-E-N, not S-I-N. This message contains misspellings and may represent the work of the accused thief. Here's where the story of the Rings Trail goes cold for 1,300 years. Rediscovered in the late 18th century, the artifact gleamed tantalizingly in a plowed field on a farm near Silchester.
Okay.
Silchester. This
Chester.
Yeah, it's better than the Shires. This English town boasts
Worcestershire?
Yeah, Roman origins and sits 80 miles from Lydney, the site of the Temple of Nodens. Whether the ring was lost or intentionally discarded by Sin or another individual remains a mystery. As for whether or not...
It's not my fault this time.
No, it's really
not my fault.
It's because I took magnesium earlier, and I feel like I'm just like I've taken a downer. No, it feels like I've taken a downer.
Watch out! I got a shit.
What the hell does that have to do with anything? Oh, good God! As for whether or not the thief fell victim to Seal's curse, we don't know, and the story has been lost to history. After falling on hard times, the Silchester farmer sold the ring to his neighbors, the Shoots. who lived in a grand Tudor house known as the Vine. Despite their interest in history and antiquities, the Shutes paid little attention to the ring until 1888, when Schuyler Shute began studying it. He wrote a paper on its history. Now, the curse tablet would turn up in the early 19th century, but nobody would make the connection between these two artifacts for nearly a century. Then in 1929, the archaeologist Sir Mortimer Wheeler, I could have named you Mortimer, and it would have worked.
How so?
Oh.
Mortimer! Mortimort.
He was first associated with the Vine ring and Seal's curse tablet. What?
I said, I don't know. I like Izzy better.
Although Wheeler could never definitively prove the ring's connection to the curse, material evidence supports his theory. The name Sin is quite rare in Roman text. What's more, the artifacts date to the same period. To confirm his suspicions and learn more about the curse tablet's connection to the ring, Wheeler called in his friend and colleague, Tolkien.
Huh.
So he was in on studying this. And Wheeler hoped that Tolkien, a professor of Anglo-Saxon at Oxford University, would help him better understand the origins of the name Nodens. On several occasions, Tolkien visited the Temple of Nodens as he worked on uncovering the mystery of the name. During these research trips, it is likely Tolkien learned about the Vine ring or the Ring of Seal. Within a year, Tolkien started writing The Hobbit. In the story, Bilbo Baggins comes across one very beautiful thing, very beautiful, very wonderful. He had a ring, a golden ring, a precious ring. Tolkien also peopled his novel with dwarves who worked in the depths of the earth. This remains at the Temple of Nodens, sits atop an Iron Age site with ancient tunnels and mine workings known as Dwarf's Hill.
Huh.
And so, of course, the
How
Shire...
cool is that?
Really, I thought it was awesome. Of course, the Shire represents an idealized version of the rural English countryside. Well, a lot of it was him sort of warning about technology. It really was.
Yeah. Understandable. Have a nice day.
But it wasn't the One Ring in Tolkien's novels inspired by another, or rather, wasn't it, by a Germanic saga. And if we're to take Tolkien at his word, such was not the case. When asked about the ring of Germanic mythology, he stated, quote, "Both rings were round, and there the resemblance ceased," end quote. So,
Oof.
he was cheeky.
Yeah.
Some compelling similarities between the Vine ring and that of the One Ring in The Hobbit exist. Professor of Archaeology
Like what?
Mark Horton of the University of Bristol and Dr. Lynn Forrest Hill have published work on the subject. Horton and Forrest Hill note that both rings were made of gold and mysteriously disappeared. Seal lost his in Lydney, as Gollum did under the Misty Mountains. Both the real-life Roman and the fictional Gollum then went on to suspect thieves, whose names they openly cursed. After discovering Bilbo had the ring, Gollum raged. Thief! 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 You could do the Gollum voice if you wanted to. Baggins, we hates it. We hates it. We hates it forever.
Is that where you got it?
That's what it said in the book. I mean, seriously.
No, I'm like, is that where you got the we hates it?
Yes.
Hates it?
Yes, it is.
That's
that
better
and
than
eggses.
Eggses. That's better than where I got loves it from.
Coupled with the author's...
Paris Hilton.
No, God.
Loves it.
No, I'm not going to quote somebody like that. Coupled with the author's close association with the ring and curse tablet, the evidence provides a fascinating new take on what inspired The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. While Seal's curse certainly proved more articulate than Gollum's rants, some say the spirit of the Defixio shines through in these passages from Tolkien. I thought that was fascinating because love Tolkien, love him, love his work, and recently found out that he was highly critical of Frank Herbert's work, which is the Dune series. Mm-hmm.
Why
because
is that?
because Tolkien was Catholic, and Herbert is more. He's not anti-God. He is anti-religion.
Yeah, and there's a vast difference.
There is a vast difference between that, and he asks some very valid questions in the Dune series. I find it very thought-provoking. But now Tolkien's story of the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings and stuff, absolutely amazing.
I mean, I've seen 1 or 2 of the movies before.
Yeah, it's not the same as reading
But
them.
like, yeah, I just never got into it. I was more into Harry
It
Potter.
has elves. It has dwarves. It has all hobbits and orcs and all this dueling wizards.
I don't know why I didn't get into it.
How could you not like Gandalf?
Who's that?
Gandalf was amazing.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
So the whole storyline is great.
So was Dumbledore.
Well, that's true. That is true. And I do understand that. And when you read the works of Tolkien and stuff, he basically created the Elvish language because he was a very talented man. Mm-hmm. And some of the names of the characters is very easy. It's very easy to get lost.
It's like,
because I do the
what?
same thing when I read as when I read, cover these stories. It's like, okay, this is so and so, blah blah blah. Some of them I could remember, and in some of them I'm like, where the hell did he come up with this?
maybe you need to like look up the pronunciations of the words or something, like the names. Would that help?
No. No. But anyhow.
How dare.
Well, it's
Understandable.
probably
Have a nice day.
It's probably some kind of learning challenge or something that I never did know. But I always wondered if he had heard myths of Middle Earth, and maybe and maybe it was just a collection of all these other experiences and stuff that he had, that he did create Middle Earth.
Yeah. Huh.
So I would still like to go to the Grey Havens anytime.
That would be nice.
Yeah. Go live with the elves.
Yes.
They didn't tolerate that much foolishness. They really didn't.
No.
No. So, One Ring, go out and hunt.
Precious.
And I actually
My precious.
I had actually bought a new ring today, which is pretty cool, and you'll hear that tinkling.
The jingling.
Yeah, it was to support a good cause, which was a drug rehab program that was in Elizabethton, Tennessee, and support these guys. And they had 2. It's a spinner ring, is what it is. And one of them had the Serenity Prayer, and of course the size that I wanted they didn't have. But the other one, it has the Lord's Prayer on it. So
Nice.
little constant reminders.
Yes.
So cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Day for rings.
Yeah.
Not
precious.
not water rings, because I have to constantly remind him to put something on the furniture before he sits down a glass.
Well, that's different.
It is.
Crop circle rings.
Yeah, we've got one of those in the yard too.
We have no idea where it came from.
So if you've had experiences with paranormal, supernatural, encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, magnesium, Gollum,
Weird rings.
weird rings, any of that stuff, if you've got local, regional, or family myths or legends, especially you folks over there in the UK, I know you all have all these amazing historical sites. So send us stories about that. Now,
Teach us.
We've had people that have sent those in before, and they were wonderful. They really were. So you can email us at cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com, and the email address is also in the description box.
Yes.
Know that you're loved. Look for cool stuff.
Yes. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and most of all, subscribe and click that notification button for daily notifications of our daily uploads. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You all have a beautiful, blessed day, and
Yes.
see you on the next cup.
Bye.
Bye.